Yeah.
We're coming live from Punta Cana,
We are.
Dominican Republic.
We are.
We are in the lobby of a lovely hotel.
We sure are.
I am here with a special guest, Spencer West. I had the pleasure of meeting Spencer just the other day, motivational speaker, author, and a really good human being.
You're very sweet, Bart.
And we are going to talk about a few different things. First of all, we're at the Kindness Conference with ALG Vacations, so we'll give a little shout out to them. Thrilled that they have asked me. This is, I think, probably the third time that I have spoken with the group.
Amazing.
Because that resonates with me, what they are trying to do. Your top yesterday was about redefine possible. This is going to go out. We're very popular with our podcast. We're fortunate. It's called Most People Don't, But You Do.
Yeah.
Top 2 to 5% globally. This is getting close to episode 200.
So exciting.
And
Congratulations.
Thank you. We are talking to people that go above and beyond, that make a difference. So I set hopefully the frame with some good conversation. And Spencer, I want to talk off, first of all, about what drives you. What drives you? What motivates you? We're going to get into the growing up story soon, but this is about Spencer West, motivational speaker, who started his own business how many years ago? Full-time?
Full-time 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Worked for a nonprofit organization doing 100 speaking gigs. Has traveled to Africa on numerous occasions.
For sure.
Does volunteer work. So for our listeners, part of this will be video, of course, but then part of it will be audio. For those that are watching, they might notice that my newest friend, Spencer West, happens to be in a wheelchair and he has no legs. I'm not going to talk about that. People can follow you to learn of your story. Let's be very realistic. Because what I appreciated about you the other day when you were saying, if you are on stage, yes, you can talk about things.
Yeah.
But if you're at a grocery store, you don't necessarily want to talk about what happened to your legs and how do you do this and how do you do this. And
correct.
So to me, it's about the person, okay?
That's very kind, thank you.
But your disability also helps prove to the world and to you that you can do what most people don't do. I'm going to back up.
Sure.
The question, what motivates you? You have such drive, okay? Starting your own business. I'm going to go back a little bit. Work for a nonprofit. Traveling 100 times a year, volunteering your time, 12 times to Eastern Africa,
you said
raising, why, Spencer West? There are so many other easier things to do, why?
I think there's a few things. The first is because I am someone that identifies as gay and disabled, there's a lot of space that isn't set up for me. Both physically as a disabled person and queer spaces in general as we look at the world today. And so one of the things that drives me is this idea that I have a platform and a space that I can use to talk about my identities and these things that matter to me, to raise awareness and to help educate folk. I could very easily just navigate the world as a disabled person, not really talk about it, and lots of people do that. But for me, because I have this platform and I love to storytell, I want to use this in a way that I enjoy what I do, but also there's always a sort of giving back or educational component. So that has always driven me, this idea of like, how can I show up? And how can I show up in a way that is authentic to me and also leaves a place better than how I found it? So whether that's through social media and what I do on all of my platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, or whether that's through keynotes and motivational speeches, how do I show up and leave the place a little bit better than maybe I found it?
Yes. 4.2 million followers, I think, on TikTok. At least, probably it's now 4.4. After this, maybe 5.4. What an incredible platform. And it's entertaining and it's education, and you are truly teaching people. So in doing that, in using your platform, is it helping you? Is it fulfilling you?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I love, I was late to the disability justice movement. I was born in 1981. And disability was talked about differently then. It was more of a conversation of, you don't want to see yourself as disabled, you want to see yourself as just like everyone else. And then as I got older, I understood how harmful that is, and that I'm not just like everyone else. I can't actually do everything that everyone else can do. There's lots of things that I can do that other folks can't do. But it's understanding that like being disabled isn't a negative. It isn't something that is terrible. I used to think it was just something that happened to me. And then I realized, oh, it's something that I can use to inspire not inspire other folks, but it's something that I can use to help educate other folks on what's happening in the world.
It's all good. The why behind what you are doing.
Oh, the platform, yes.
Yeah, the traveling and everything else.
Yeah.
And so it's very altruistic. It is, you now have a platform.
Yeah.
You are gifted with a platform.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of research and a lot of hard work to get that platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people could not give, share, educate, and help. Yet you are. You just said you could have gone through life fine, not being visible around the entire globe
Yeah.
for disability rights, gay rights,
Yeah, yeah.
queer rights.
Yeah, yeah.
You could have just been under the radar. Does it relate back to growing up? Did your parents teach you to care deeply? How did that come about? What do you think?
For sure, yeah. I think it definitely came from my family. And it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it's large things, Bart. It was like, we clean out our closet every year and donated toys that we weren't playing with anymore. We cleaned out our closet with our clothes and donated those things. And we understood why we were doing that and where it was going. So I think it started with that. And then I just took it from there on educating myself.
Greetings, everyone. This is Bart. I just want to take a few moments to thank our newest sponsor, Wishes.Inc. You just heard me during this podcast recording with Spencer West ask him, where did he learn and how did he learn to be so charitable and giving and altruistic? He shared that growing up that they would go through their old clothes or their toys that they were no longer using and offer them as donations. It's a perfect segue to introduce Wishes.Inc. Wishes is a next generation platform that delivers support to real people in real time. They have helped to reimagine what giving should feel like, fast, personal, and transparent. This is how it works. You go to Wishes.Inc. You discover a wish. You can see people that in real time need help, everything from medical supplies to school supplies, and they're posted by either individuals or nonprofit partners. You can then send your support instantly. The most brilliant thing is that you are going to get notified when your donation is delivered. You'll see photos, stories, and updates to prove why kindness matters, which just comes full circle because I met Spencer West at the Kindness Conference. Thank you again to Wishes.Inc. Looking forward to everyone being able to contribute in their own way.
And what people are seeing in real time on social media is me learning stuff about myself or about the world, and then me sharing it in a way that hopefully is accessible and digestible for other folks to try to make things easier. But it started with my family for sure.
Okay. You have a sister?
I do.
Younger or older?
Younger, 4
Shout
years.
out to
Annie is her name.
Annie.
Yeah.
Is Annie giving like you?
She is. She does it in a different way. She's a mom of 3 boys, and she works in the school system in Wyoming, and she does. She definitely gives in her own way in that regard to her family and to her community, in that way, and to my parent and all of those things. So she is. We do it in different ways, but it's the same message.
Yeah. When do you think your parents live in Wyoming?
Yeah.
Mom and dad, shout out to?
Yeah, Tonette and Kenny.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. West?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What do you think they have been the proudest of you? Is there a moment that they maybe called you or texted you and said, Spencer, freaking well done? Is there any moment that really hits?
They've always been proud of my accomplishments. I've always been someone that's like a doer and a trier. That's been really important to me. But the moment that sticks out is when I came out to my family. You know, my dad was of a generation, he didn't understand what being gay meant, and he didn't have the tools to ask me if that's what I was. And instead it came out confusing and wrong and a bit challenging. But when I did eventually come out, I'll never forget my dad, like a few months later after I come out, he called me on Father's Day. I called him, and he picked up the phone, and before I could say anything, the first words out of his mouth were, I just want you to know you're my son, and I'm so proud of you, and it doesn't matter to me that you're gay. And then he followed up with, but could you hurry up and adopt some grandkids, because I'm tired of waiting.
I love it.
So that was like really, for me, like all of the stuff that I've done is amazing.
Of
Climbing
course.
Kilimanjaro, which is great, but those
That moment.
emotional human interactions I think are more impactful for me.
Phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then I do want to share some of your other accomplishments.
Yeah.
You walked Kilimanjaro, so that was a lovely, proud moment, and it
Totally.
it touches here.
Yeah.
You also raised a ton of money by climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Correct.
On your hands.
Yeah.
How much money did you raise?
We raised just over $500,000. So that translated to, this was 2012, so East Africa had just seen one of the largest droughts they'd seen in over 60 years. And suddenly, kids going to school wasn't a priority. Just helping out their family survive through this drought was important. So one of the things that was missing was clean water. So we fundraised this $500,000 for clean water, which translated to 12,500 people ending up having clean water for life. So
For life. When you shared your story on stage, and I took notes, of course. I like to learn, and you
Yeah.
were teaching me and inspiring me. You said something, hand over hand,
yeah,
and foot
Over
over
foot.
foot. And the video that was shared was incredible.
thank you.
Not an easy thing to do,
No.
and certainly as a human being to you, thank you for caring and doing so much.
Yeah.
How did your mother react when you even said that you were going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro on your hands?
Yeah, my mom is a true mom in that sense, where she was like, do you really have to? Is this a good idea? She's always been supportive, but she's always going to be the mother that is a bit concerned. And then my dad was mad that we didn't invite him. So the
Okay.
juxtaposition of the two. But yeah, my mom was concerned, but supportive.
Yeah.
She knows regardless I'm going to do what...
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to do what most people don't do.
Yeah.
So a few weeks ago, we had 3 friends that also, they're adventure friends, put it that way.
Yeah.
And they climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And one quote, and you probably have heard this before, that our friend Mark said, be quoting someone else, some people climb the mountain to be seen by the world. Other people climb the mountain to see the world.
Yeah.
You are seeing the world.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Yeah.
you're donating money and raising a heck of a lot of money
Yeah.
to be able to help others, which is just so incredible.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Share a little bit, when you were traveling 100 days a year, being an ambassador for a not-for-profit organization, what were some of the greatest challenges of that grueling schedule? In fact, first night I met you, I asked you,
Yeah.
like, how does that feel when you had done that? What can you share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I took away from that is, in the beginning I loved it, and I loved the idea of like, how many can we do this year, and these are the amount of people that we talk to, and this is really cool, and potentially the amount of lives that we've changed. But what I realized now in hindsight, at almost 45, I was like, I was giving into this hustle culture that is so problematic, and it was so draining. And halfway through, I was like, oh, I now have no autonomy over my life. I'm not having any self-care, which is so important and needed. I'm not spending time with my friends and family, which is also... And the work I was doing was important and I believed in, but I realized I'm not also taking care of myself. And if I'm not feeding myself, I can't come out and emotionally and spiritually, then I can't show up as well as I would like out into the world. So that was, for me, the start of like, oh, I think I need to slow down. And then, listen, the pandemic was awful for everyone, but for me, it actually worked out in my favor because it forced me to stop. It forced me to slow down. It forced me to pay attention to what I needed. I started going to therapy in person for a little bit, and then of course we switched to virtual. I started focusing on my physical health, and everything fell into place after that.
Incredible. By the way, for those that are just listening, Spencer West is jacked. You got probably half a percentage of body fat on you, my friends. Well done, well done. I'm a little bit envious. I'm a lot envious, but it's all good. Let's go back to I didn't realize that there could be, and just bear with me in the terminology here, the corporate hustle.
Yeah.
I would never necessarily think about a nonprofit as corporate hustle. But I guess as elements of the job, you were the ambassador and you had to travel. This is what you needed to do.
Correct.
And the more times that you got out there, the more money that was raised for the nonprofit to help other organizations.
Exactly.
All right. So then making that leap to become your own boss. And the reason why I gave you a high five is that right before the pandemic, excuse me, I was just going through routine nose surgery.
Yeah.
And it was something,
excuse me.
Bless you. It was something that I had pushed off for many years because of a little out-of-body trauma experience when I was 12 years old, having surgery. Longer story than we have time for right now, but I finally faced my fears. I'm like, I'd like to breathe again. Bottom line is, during recovery from my nose surgery, I had a heart attack. Surgical center rushed me to the hospital. They did the surgeries. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But this happened about 2 or 3 months before the pandemic. And I think I was at a place in my career that it forced me to stop and pause. And I finally said, I'm ready to get nose surgery because I knew that would give me a break from work.
Yeah.
I loved my job, but it was very, very stressful.
Yeah.
It would give me a break from work, and for a week I could recover at home with my wife, with my kids, and with my dogs.
Yeah.
And then pandemic hit.
Yeah.
and it changed everything. Had you ever thought of starting your own business before the pandemic? Did you ever think that you would, I want to do this on my own?
Before the pandemic, yes, I was starting to think about it because, again, I was feeling like I didn't have a lot of autonomy over what I was doing. And because I was an ambassador for an organization, I wasn't the founder, I wasn't in charge, and there were certain things I was asked not to discuss and not to talk about publicly, which that's a whole other conversation for another day.
Sure.
But I was ready to move on. I was ready to talk about other things that felt important to me, that I wanted to lean into. So that's when I started to think about, okay, I think I need to do this on my own. And to give them credit, the founders of this organization were very kind to me. When I'd first joined 10 years or 12 years ago, they said, look, we see something really amazing here. You're a great speaker. We want to help you. So if you ever leave here, you leave with a platform. And that's what they did.
Nice.
They made good on their promise and vice versa. And so I will always be grateful for that experience as well, because without that, I don't think I would be here. So both of those things were necessary. But you have to realize when things aren't suiting you anymore or working for you, that you've got to move on.
And that kind of goes full circle into what you spoke of and what I spoke, is kindness.
Totally.
I think lesson number one was be kind to yourself.
Yeah, start with you.
Yeah. While you were talking about that, was that a topic that you were talking about before you were on your own? Were you talking about being kind to yourself?
I'm not quite in that. I mean, in a general roundabout way, but never so pointed like I did here. Because, and I'm sure you do the same. Like all of my keynotes are specifically tailored to what people want. Those stories were hand chosen for this speech to talk about kindness and what that means to me.
So for our listener, it goes out to a lot of different people, different industries all over the world. What is one suggestion that you think you can offer to them that they can think about and implement? Be kind to yourself. Anything come to mind? What is something they can do?
Yeah, the thing that I talked about is the importance of asking for help and how we all have that ability, but to actually put that into practice can be so challenging. And even for me, there's lots of things I need to ask for help on a daily basis, but I still find it challenging. But I think that is the easiest way that we can start to be kind to ourselves, is understanding that like we don't have to do everything on our own.
Yes.
It's okay to ask for support. It's okay to reach out. And I actually think it's really important.
You shared a story. Was it in India?
Yeah.
Would you mind summarizing
Sure.
it? Because it was very, very powerful in that last photograph with your friend.
Yeah.
Can you just recreate part of that story for our listeners?
Sure. Basically, I was hosting a group of 25 students from North America. We built a school in India. We took them to this temple that's on the top of this mountain in India where we were. And to get there, you had to climb a ton of stairs, which I didn't think about. And so as we got there, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do. And then these guys came by with this contraption where it was this like platform hanging on this massive pole that they carried. And I like sat on that platform and they carried me to the top. And the crux of that story is that's the most important lesson I think that I could have taught those students that entire journey, is that like what I think makes a really good leader is someone who can be vulnerable and ask for help. And that's what that story was about.
Yeah, ask for help. And then the last image.
Yeah, so when we got to the top, there's this brass bell that I didn't know was going to be there that you ring 3 times and make a wish. And I just let the students do it. But then halfway through, it was like, well, I should just do it. It doesn't matter. And so I asked my friend if she would help. She was like, oh my God, of course. And the photo is her kneeling down and I've got my arms around her neck and she's like slowly standing up and I'm ringing the bell with her help.
Yeah, literally and figuratively, he lifted you
Correct.
up.
Yeah.
I think my perception, so in my kindness conversation, it was K, kind over right, I include others, notice, observe, anticipate, over deliver, and then D, you're doing great. So the element of notice, anticipating, and over delivering, when I first met you, and then we had a dinner, and our friend Sherry, shout out Sherry Calissimo, we put our intentional floats, lanterns, onto the pool, and they all floated away, and the idea was you write 4 things of what you are manifesting, what you believe in, what you want to go further than just here, and we sent them off. And Terry, my wife and co-founder, was next to you and asked if you needed help. And what was your response? You remember?
It was probably, I'm good, but thank you for asking.
Yeah, and I think, is that a sensitive thing? Like, asking for help, you are stated, being a good leader, being a good human being, I'm so stressed. Like at lunch today, I was stressed over a couple of things. And so I opened up to Terry and I'm like, these are the 3 things that are bothering me right now. Can we talk about it? And this is the first time in about a week, it's been bothering me, but this is the first time that I said, these 3 things are bothering me. And the most brilliant thing she says is, we got this, don't worry about this, and I'm not nervous at all for those things. Okay, good, solved, right? End of solutions. Thank you, Terry Fisher Berkey. But I am sensitive to offering help, but not making someone feel like, oh, you're like, poor me. What would you say, and I'll give you one other quick example.
Yeah.
So I do work sometimes if we're not traveling at a coffee shop.
Yep.
And I saw someone come by with a big dog, big pit bull, and they were glancing into the window to see if their beverage was ready for their mobile order.
Yeah.
And I noticed, anticipated, and delivered it. I went out and I said, I have a dog almost a little smaller.
Yeah.
Let me hold on to the dog.
Yeah.
Go in and get your coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so great. I gave help where I thought I saw someone need help.
Yeah.
There was an old woman that spilled her coffee, and she starts dropping all these napkins onto the floor to soak it up.
Yeah.
And she really wasn't bendable enough or
Yeah.
flexible enough to. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I got it. You should
Yeah.
be wiping up coffee. They didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
I saw something, and I
Yeah.
talk about see something, do something.
Yeah.
What is best? And I know this is a very big generalization, but what advice would you give to people in general when they see people that might need help, want to be respectful for help, but don't want to make anyone feel less than? I know that was a crazy.
Yeah, no, I know where you're going with it.
Okay.
So
Good, because I don't.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you, Bart. So for me, as someone with a disability, people come up to me all the time and want to offer help. Sometimes it's in situations that might be warranted, and sometimes it's not. Now, everyone is different. I don't speak for the entire disability community. I can only speak for myself. But there's going to be a point to this that I think is for everyone. I'll give an example. I was in a parking lot one time, and this person came over I drive an SUV. I can drive a car, and I have an SUV because my wheelchair is very light, and I can lift it in the back of my car myself.
Yep.
No problem. That's how I navigate the world. And I do it 10 times a day. And so this gentleman was walking by and he was like, oh, would you like some help? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I do this all the time. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I'm happy to help. And I was like, no, honestly, like, I'm really good. And then he came over and picked up my chair and put it in my car. So there's a couple things there. As a disabled person, we often see our mobility devices as an extension of our body. So essentially, you're touching my body without consent, number one. And number two, his intentions were so pure, and he genuinely wanted to help. And I don't fault him for that, but he didn't listen. I was very clear, I don't need your help.
Sure.
I appreciate that you offered, and that's so lovely. And I think that's the piece where sometimes when we offer help for folks that we get lost. I think with all things in life, it's about consent. Can I offer you some help? And then your next move is to just listen.
Yeah.
And then whatever they respond with is then you can move forward. But there's so many times where people are like, do you need help? And I'm like, I actually don't. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the offer, and I always want to validate that people are thinking about it. But I think that's the most important piece when we're trying to offer help for other people is to listen.
Listen. So you can certainly ask, you can certainly offer.
Yeah.
And what we're learning as good leader, as good human being, if you need help, you should ask. So kids that are going through situations, individuals that are coming out that don't know how to do it, there are resources out there.
Totally.
So raise your hand, put up the white flag and say, I need some help.
Yeah.
Have you been in situations in which you are noticing, anticipating, and over-delivering to help others? You've never been asked that question.
No, I haven't. I think what I've been spending my time doing over the last 5 or 6 years is understanding where I fit into the world and understanding where I need to listen and learn. So I think for it's been doing this delicate balance of I have some knowledge about me as someone being queer and disabled that I can share with the world, but I'm also learning a lot about those identities in real time that I should allow other folks to have the mic and the space and the stage to do. So it's this idea of privilege and understanding where I should be talking and where I should be listening and allowing other people to talk instead.
And that aligns also back to good human beings and good leaders. I know I'm good at this, but I need to be quiet and let the other people that are really good at these other things help out.
Yeah.
And probably not always easy for people to understand. Sometimes people want to be overly aggressive and help out maybe where they don't need to be helping out.
Totally.
Yeah. What else would you like to learn in this journey, in this lifetime?
Oh my gosh, so many things. Like I want to keep learning about how do we create movements and how do we create systemic, sustainable change. I think that's the one thing that I've learned over the last couple of years. I thought change was linear, and it's not. It ebbs and flows and goes backwards and forwards, and things that we have now won't be guaranteed in 10 years and vice versa. So I think for me, it's continuing to learn how do we participate in that? How do we help move the needle on whatever the thing is that we care about. I've got my own things, you've got your own thing. And so I think for me is continuing to learn how to do that. And I've been getting into a bit of community organizing. We have the Toronto Disability Pride Martin that happens every year in Toronto, and it's a grassroots organizing committee. No one gets paid. We all do it because we care about what's happening. And learning what organizing looks like and how to create change on a large scale like we hope that we're doing now.
Yeah.
And how do we do it in a smaller community with just as large of an impact, and maybe when it comes to policy and law and all of those things as well.
That is helping to redefine possible, and
sure.
that is allowing you to fit into a certain area and continue to contribute.
Yeah.
I have two last questions for you,
Please.
Spencer,
Yeah.
if you're okay.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, I am going to be presenting to a group, and the title that they wanted me to discuss my experiences. How can leaders remain positive during difficult times? They're trying to lead people, but they're worried. They're nervous themselves.
Yeah.
How can they lead during difficult times? And I'm just asking you based on what you have difficult, but you continue to move forward.
Yeah.
What can you share? Anything come to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind is I feel like we always want to skip to, how do we make this better? What's the solution? How do we look at the positive of this? And I believe there's a thing as toxic positivity as well. Sometimes we have to lean in and just say, this is really hard. I don't have the answer. I don't know what it is. Can we all just get together and talk about how we're feeling?
Yeah.
And what do we think we can do to fix? I think so quickly it's too uncomfortable to lean into what's happening and to name it and to say it out loud. So people want to skip past that and jump right to a solution.
Yeah.
And so I think taking that time to just be like, you know what? This is
Not
a
sure.
shitty situation. This is a shitty day. That's what it's going to be today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, we'll try something new.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be the title of this podcast. Today's a shitty day. No, it's not. Today's a shitty day with Spencer West. No, I want more listeners to this podcast. We'll come up with something.
But I want to say, Bart, one of the things that I've always believed in, and I heard it from a TV show a long time ago, when it comes to like difficulties, sometimes we just have to hang on until the scenery changes. But the scenery always changes.
Always.
And the next day will be a little bit easier than it was the day before.
Yes.
So I think when we're talking about leaders and how do we deal with things that are difficult, I think giving them the space to be difficult, giving other people the space to also express that they're difficult, and then figure out together how you move forward.
Yeah. Personal question,
Yeah.
do you feel that your life is difficult, Spencer?
Sure, there's so many things that I find difficult. Absolutely.
Yet you continue.
Yeah. There is no other option for me.
And that's the positivity that I gleaned from you, and that I know all the other attendees. They saw that redefine possible, and maybe not everyone wants to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
No.
But
And
guess
I don't
what?
even want to do it again.
Yeah. But if Spencer could do it on his hand, then guess what? Anything is possible. And if we can learn to ask for help, if we can get resources, if we can be kind, if we can learn to fit in and sometimes be quiet and learn, that's also a very important of our lives.
For sure.
Most people don't is the name of the company, the podcast. Most people don't, but you do. Could you fill in the blanks? Or there's just one blank, and I always say this. Most people don't blank. What comes to mind?
Most people don't. I want to say something along the lines of most people don't take the time to figure out what they want and need. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Most people don't take the time to stop and think about what they want and need. May I ask you, what do you want?
Yeah, for me, I want to continue to use whatever platform I have to raise awareness and educate, and also infuse a little heart and humor and honesty at the same time.
And what do you need?
I need rest. I need fun. I need time with my partner and family and friends, and I need a job that feels fulfilling and that gives back in some way.
And that's exactly what you're doing. I want to make sure that we give a shout out to Mario.
Absolutely.
Correct? Because we gave a shout out to a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah, my wonderful partner.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
At lunch, Spencer told me some really cool things about Mario. So as he listens to this, Mario, you're a heck of a dude. I hope to be able to meet you sometime
That's very
soon
kind, Bart.
and in person. And thank you for sharing, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing great things with the world, Spencer West.
Yeah, thanks,
you
Bart.
are an incredible human being. You are helping to redefine possible.
Thank
he
you.
does have a new book that is going to be coming out next year.
That's right, yeah.
The title, I know the title is baked. Would you mind sharing?
The title's Breaking Free.
Breaking Free.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, Breaking Free. And then also, you have so many different great places to be able to learn. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, 4.2 million followers on TikTok
Yep.
which is just fun and entertaining. And even this morning before I started our day, I got a feed of a couple of your messages, and I was like, now I know that you can swim really well.
Oh, yeah.
And now that I know that you can do this and to do that, and it just gave me really some great ideas on redefining possible, which is what you shared. Is there a website where we can direct people? Tell me again.
Yeah, it's just Spencer, SPENCER, the number 2,
yes.
the West. So Spencer2thewest.com.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, Spencer, amazing. Thank
you, my
you
friend.
very much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're a heck of a guy, man.
Thank you.